Hi, my name is Jennifer Irving, and I'm an enrolled member of the Oglala Sioux Tribe. I also currently serve as the Deputy Director at the Thunder Valley Community Development Corporation, which is a Lakota-led nonprofit located on the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation.
Hi, I'm Christina Hoxie. I'm the lead planner for BNIM, and my role is to work on the regional plan and the master plan for this regenerative community. My passion for this work comes from knowing the strong people of Pine Ridge. In addition to Thunder Valley and BNIM, our other team members of the core team include Pyatt Studio, KLJ Civil Engineers, and Studio NYL Structural Engineers. We'll be welcoming our good friend and colleague Rob Pyatt to the stage for Q&A later.
As a Lakota woman, I was raised to believe in the Lakota teaching of the 7 generations, which tells us that my actions today and my choices today have a direct impact on the future. I'm responsible for all of you, you're responsible for me, and together we're responsible for our collective future. Those same beliefs and principles are rooted in Thunder Valley's regenerative community model. For generations, conservation and restoration have been the heart and practice of the Lakota people. We were people of the plains and people of the buffalo, and we used every part of that buffalo anytime we harvested one. We were also nomadic people, and when we set up our camps, we set them up in ways that helped us to regenerate and revitalize that area and that land. Those same restoration and cultural practices of conservation are at the very heart and forefront of our community model.
The design team's approach is rooted in a community-based action and rooted in
Our community is actually going to be located in the central part of our reservation, which is located in the southwestern corner of South Dakota. When we were looking for partners, that had the same beliefs of community, of sustainability, of protection of the environment, and most importantly, revitalization of culture. We also wanted our partners to be like us, big dreamers, risk takers, and innovators.
And our approach is community-based and rooted in those practices that are designing in harmony with nature.
In 2010 through 2012, Thunder Valley CDC conducted a series of conversations across our reservation. We spoke with over 2,700 of our tribal members, asking them specifically what they wanted for their community, what they wanted for their future. Then in 2012 through 2015, a group of planners, architects, and community members came together to discuss what they wanted to see in this regenerative model.
We applied those community values and sought solutions based in low-tech, high-performance ideas. Where we found those were in cooperative community principles of efficiency, proximity, and interaction. And then we looked for those solutions and found them in wastewater treatment, in community building, in using passive solar principles and airflow, in using healthy local materials, and really using ecological treatment and reuse for every drop of water. As the Thunder Valley regenerative community grows in its richness of programs and spaces and infrastructure, we're also looking for the performance of those systems to continually increase. You know, whether it is the district wastewater treatment system or the renewable energy system or the workforce development program and sustainable construction practices, and the options of high quality, affordable homes. These are all processes that continue to adapt and evolve, and we're learning every day from these processes. The groundbreaking last summer was truly a tribute to that community. And it was a place for the community to get together and celebrate the advances in policy, design processes, and even funding.
Thank you.
I think there's a great opportunity to do like a pre-post intervention on does this impact health outcomes like diabetes and hypertension. Do you have plans to do that?
Definitely. We actually have an evaluation firm that helps our community right now not just monitor the different projects that are happening at Thunder Valley, including the regenerative community model, but part of it is going forward looking at that baseline data to talk everything from physical health, but also social health. What does it mean for some of these families that are going to be first-time homeowners on the reservation, to following their children, to growing up in a home that they've actually paid for. So we're looking at those indicators and outcomes right now.
As you go through, you start thinking a bit about the known knowns, the known unknowns, and the unknown unknowns. It's the third one that I'm always concerned about, what keeps me up at night. So what are the unknown unknowns that you're starting to even contemplate as you go through this process?
Around your construction practices. A great deal of the model of financing is built on sweat equity programs. There are about 6 different layers of programs that reduce the initial home price of these initial residents of the community, and a big part of that is in sweat equity from the workforce development program and also the self-help program for the residents. You want to talk a little bit about the construction?
Sure. Well, the homes are designed to be built through these programs, and we just broke ground on the first 7 homes this last week. So as we move in towards winter, which is pretty extreme on Pine Ridge, you know, one of the unknowns I think would be just the logistics of running these crews throughout the winter. We have really short building season on Pine Ridge, so but at the same time we kind of have to move forward with construction. So it's just adapting to the physical environment.
So one of the underlying issues around resilience and health, I think, are economic issues. Can you kind of talk about how this project may address some of those underlying kind of greater economic development issues?
Sure. So the mission of Thunder Valley CDC really is to build bridges and opportunities out of poverty. One of the reasons we looked at the regenerative community model and looked at home ownership was an avenue for folks out of poverty. And my specific work is regional equity. So taking some of the models and some of the initiatives that we work on at Thunder Valley and making sure it translates to other program and tribal partners is something that I work on a daily basis. So we don't want just change to happen just at this community or just on those 34 acres at Thunder Valley. We want change to happen across our reservation. So we're constantly working on initiatives and partnerships and collaborations that really focus on, you know, what are the systems that we need to change to help not only build home ownership at Thunder Valley, but home ownership across the reservation. We also look at change and systems that we need to work on to build economic development. You know, what are some of the laws and what are some of the ordinances that the tribe needs to work on in order to build those systems and to support small businesses and larger businesses that want to set up shop on Pine Ridge. So for us, the regenerative community model is a starting point. It's the pebble in the pond, so to speak, so that that ripple effect takes place across the reservation. So that's kind of where we see the way that this model, this community model is really that ripple effect, the start of that.
Excellent, thank you.